My name is Lawrence Cross, and tonight, I learned what it truly means to be hated by your own blood. I'm 23 years old, the youngest of 3 children, and according to my family, I'm the reason the Cross name is tarnished. Let me give you the full picture of my pathetic existence. My father, Richard Cross, is the CEO of Cross Enterprise, a multi-billion-dollar real estate empire that spans 15 countries. My mother, Catherine Cross, is a socialite who sits on the boards of 8 major charities and hasn't lifted a finger for anything except her wine glass in 30 years. My brother Derek is 30, vice president of Dad's company, drives a Lamborghini, married to a Victoria's Secret model, and lives in a penthouse that overlooks Central Park. My sister Melissa, whose 25th birthday we're celebrating tonight, just made partner at Morrison & Associates, the most prestigious law firm in the state. She's engaged to Senator Hartley's son, James. She has 1 million followers on Instagram. She's perfect. And then there's me. I work at FedEx office on 5th Street, making $15.50 an hour. I live in a converted garage apartment with 5 roommates, 3 of whom I'm pretty sure are selling weed. I drive a 1998 Honda Civic with a cracked windshield and a muffler that sounds like a dying animal. I have $237 in my bank account. Total. I buy my clothes from Goodwill and thrift stores because that's all I can afford. And 3 years ago, I came out as gay. That's when everything went from bad to apocalyptic. My father didn't speak to me for 6 months. When he finally did, his first words were, "First you're useless, now you're into men too?" My mother cried, not because she was sad, but because she said I'd ruined her reputation at the country club. Derek told everyone at his company that I wasn't his brother anymore. And Melissa? She uninvited me to her engagement party, her bridal shower, and every family event for 2 years because, and I quote, "I don't want people thinking our family is full of gays. They blame me for everything." When Dad lost a business deal. If Lawrence wasn't gay, the Hendersons would have signed. When Mom's charity event had low attendance. People are avoiding us because of Lawrence. When Derek's promotion got delayed. The board has concerns about the family image. Thanks a lot, Lawrence. I became the scapegoat for every single thing that went wrong in their lives. But I'm still their son. Still their brother. So when Mom called me yesterday and said, "Melissa's birthday is tomorrow at the Royal Grand Hotel. Black tie, 7 p.m. If you don't show up, you're dead to this family," I said I'd be there. I shouldn't have come. I knew it the second I walked into that ballroom. 300 people, all dripping in diamonds, designer clothes, expensive cologne. The chandeliers alone probably cost more than I'd make in my lifetime. There was a live orchestra, ice sculptures, a champagne fountain, and a cake that was literally 4 tiers tall with real gold leaf. And there I was, in my $12 Goodwill blazer, $8 thrift store pants, and shoes I'd glued back together last week because I couldn't afford new ones. I tried to hide in the corner, tried to be invisible, grabbed a glass of champagne from a waiter and stood behind a plant, hoping no one would notice me. I lasted exactly 7 minutes. Oh, my God. Melissa's voice. That tone, the one that meant someone was about to die. I turned slowly, and there she was, my sister, in a white Valentino gown that cost $35,000. I know because she posted about it on Instagram. Her hair was done up in some elaborate style with actual diamonds woven into it. Her makeup was flawless. She looked like a princess, and she was staring at me like I was dog shit on her Louboutins. "Lawrence?" she breathed, her face contorting in pure horror. What the hell are you wearing?" People nearby started to notice, started to turn. "It's a blazer," I started. "A blazer." Her voice rose to a shriek. "Lawrence, this is a black tie event." Black tie. That means tuxedos. That means designer. That means... Oh my God, is that from Goodwill? She lunged forward and grabbed my collar, yanking it out to check the label. It's from Goodwill." She released me with a shove and turned to the crowd, which was growing by the second. Everyone. My brother wore a Goodwill suit to my birthday. Laughter. Gasps. Whispers. My face burned. "Melissa. I'm sorry. I couldn't afford." Mother! Melissa screamed across the ballroom, ignoring me completely. Mother! Father! Get over here right now. Oh God. Oh God, no. My mother appeared first, gliding through the crowd in her champagne Chanel gown, her face already arranged in that look. The look of profound disappointment mixed with barely concealed rage. Melissa, darling, what's wrong? She stopped dead when she saw me. Her eyes went wide, then narrow, then cold. Lawrence, what are you wearing? It wasn't a question. I tried to find something nice. But what? My father's voice boomed as he pushed through the crowd, scotch in hand, his face already red. But you're too poor? Too stupid? Too much of a failure to even dress appropriately for your sister's birthday. The crowd was massive now. At least 100 people, all watching, all listening. Father, please. I tried. Don't you dare call me that, he snarled. You lost the right to call me father when you decided to be a disgrace. My mother gripped my arm, her nails digging in so hard I felt blood. Do you have any idea how much this party cost? How many important people are here? And you show up looking like a homeless person. I'm not homeless. Slap. Her hand cracked across my face so hard my vision blurred. The crowd gasped. Don't talk back to me, she screamed, and I saw tears in her eyes. Tears of rage and humiliation. You have done nothing but embarrass this family since the day you were born. Nothing. Catherine's right, my father said coldly, taking a long sip of his scotch. You're 23 years old, Lawrence. 23. And what have you accomplished? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I have a job. A job. Derek's voice cut through as he pushed forward with his wife, Amanda, on his arm. She was gorgeous in her designer gown, looking at me with barely concealed disgust. You call making copies a job? I make more in an hour than you make in a month. At least he has a job, Amanda said with a fake sympathetic smile. Unlike all those other gay guys who just live off sugar daddies. The crowd snickered. Oh, Lawrence couldn't get a sugar daddy. Melissa laughed cruelly. Look at him. Who would want that? My throat tightened. Don't cry. Don't you dare cry. She's got a point, my Aunt Claire said loudly from the crowd. I mean, if you're going to choose that lifestyle, at least be attractive. At least be successful. But Lawrence is neither. He's an embarrassment. My mother agreed, releasing my arm with a disgusted shake. Do you know what the ladies at the country club say about us? They pity us. They say, oh, poor Catherine, having a gay son who can't even support himself. They laugh at us, my father added. At business dinners, at golf games, they all know about you, about our failure of a son. I'm trying. My voice cracked. Trying. Melissa shrieked. You've been trying for 23 years. When are you going to actually succeed at something? Huh? When? James, her fiancé, stepped forward. He was tall, handsome, perfectly groomed in his custom tuxedo. Everything I wasn't. Melissa. Babe, don't waste your breath, he said smoothly. Some people are just born losers. It's not his fault, he can't help it. The condescension in his voice was worse than the outright cruelty. You're right, Melissa cooed, leaning into him. I'm sorry, baby. I just get so angry when I see him. He ruins everything just by existing. I know, sweetheart, James murmured, kissing her forehead. Look at them, Derek said to the crowd, gesturing at Melissa and James. That's what success looks like. That's what a real relationship looks like. Not whatever desperate, lonely existence Lawrence is living. Has he ever even had a boyfriend? Someone in the crowd asked. No, Melissa shouted gleefully. He's 23 and he's never dated anyone. Not a single person. That's so sad, Amanda said with mock sympathy. Even straight people who are ugly manage to find someone. But Lawrence? Nothing. No one wants him. Because he's pathetic, my father stated matter-of-factly. He's poor, he's weak, he's got nothing to offer. What kind of man, gay or straight, would want someone like that? The words hit me like physical blows. At least when Melissa came out as engaged, we could be proud, my mother said, her voice trembling with emotion. At least when Derek got married, we could hold our heads high. But you give us nothing. No partner, no success, no reason to be proud. Just shame, my father added. Constant, never-ending shame. And you know what the worst part is? Melissa stepped closer, her eyes glittering with malice. You're 23. You should be in your prime. You should be dating, falling in love, building a life. But instead, you're going to die alone. Because no one, and I mean no one, will ever love you. Her words shattered something inside me. Melissa. My voice was barely a whisper. It's true. She was on a roll now, feeding off the crowd's energy. You're going to be 40, 50, 60 years old, still living in that garage, still working at that copy shop, still alone. Because you're unlovable, Lawrence. You're broken. You're defective. Maybe he should just give up, Derek suggested with a laugh. Like seriously, what's the point of Lawrence even trying anymore? He should have given up years ago, my father agreed. James, baby. Melissa suddenly turned to her fiancé with a bright smile. Let's do it now. Let's make this night perfect. James smiled back at her, and I watched in growing horror as he reached into his pocket. No, they wouldn't. Everyone, Melissa called out, her voice ringing through the ballroom. Can I have your attention, please? The orchestra stopped playing. 300 people turned to look. As you all know, tonight is my 25th birthday. Melissa began, her voice filled with joy. And I'm surrounded by everyone I love. Well, she shot me a disgusted look. Almost everyone. Laughter. But tonight is about to get even more special, she continued, practically bouncing with excitement. Because my amazing, wonderful, perfect boyfriend has something to say. James dropped to one knee. The crowd gasped and cheered. I felt like I was going to throw up. Melissa Cross, James said, pulling out a ring box. The diamond inside was huge, at least 5 carats, maybe more. You are the most incredible woman I've ever met. You're brilliant, beautiful, successful, and everything I could ever want in a partner. Will you marry me? Yes. Melissa screamed before he even finished. Yes, yes, yes. The crowd erupted in applause and cheers as James slipped the ring on her finger and pulled her into a kiss. My mother was crying happy tears. My father was beaming. Derek was clapping and whistling. And I was standing there, in my Goodwill blazer, watching my sister get everything I'd ever wanted. Love, acceptance, celebration. Oh, Lawrence, Melissa said suddenly, breaking away from James with a cruel smile. I almost forgot you were there. How does it feel? Watching me get engaged to the love of my life while you can't even get a text back from a guy on Grindr. The crowd laughed. Must be hard, Derek added with fake sympathy. Watching everyone around you find love while you're destined to die alone. It's what he deserves, my mother said coldly. He made his choices, and now he gets to live with them, my father agreed. James looked at me with something like pity in his eyes. Hey man, don't feel too bad. I'm sure you'll find someone. Eventually. Maybe try lowering your standards? Like a lot. More laughter. Melissa held up her ring, making sure I could see it sparkle under the chandelier lights. This ring cost more than you make in 2 years, Lawrence. James loves me that much. Can you even imagine someone loving you enough to spend that kind of money on you? I couldn't speak, couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Of course he can't, my mother said. Because it'll never happen. Never, Melissa agreed, her voice rising triumphantly. You'll never have what I have. You'll never be loved like this. You'll spend your whole pathetic life alone and miserable, and you know what? You deserve it. The crowd cheered. They actually cheered. My vision blurred with tears. Couldn't hold them back anymore. Oh my God, he's crying. Derek howled with laughter. The little loser is actually crying. Poor Lawrence, Amanda cooed mockingly. Did we hurt your feelings? Did we make you sad? Get out. My father said suddenly, his voice like ice. Get out of this party. Get out of our lives. You're not welcome here. Dad, I choked out. I said get out. He roared so loud the whole ballroom shook. You are a disgrace. You are a failure. And I am ashamed to call you my son. My mother nodded, her face hard. Leave, Lawrence. Before you ruin Melissa's engagement too. Yeah, get out, Melissa said viciously. Go back to your sad little garage. Go back to your sad little life. And stay there, because you're not family anymore. You're nothing. I turned to leave, tears streaming down my face, my whole body shaking. The crowd parted as I walked, and I heard their whispers. Pathetic. Embarrassing. Poor thing. He deserves it, though. What a loser. I was almost to the door when it happened. The ballroom doors slammed open with such force they cracked against the walls. Everyone screamed and turned, and he walked in. 6'4", tailored black suit that probably cost 6 figures. Dark hair perfectly styled. Sharp jaw. Eyes like a wolf, predatory and intense. An aura of power that made the entire room fall silent. Daniel Westbrook, the youngest billionaire CEO in the country. Owner of Westbrook Industries. Forbes 30 under 30. The man who bought and sold companies before breakfast. And apparently, he was looking for someone. His eyes scanned the crowd, sharp and searching, until they landed on me. And everything stopped. His expression changed, softened and hardened all at once. Something possessive and protective flashed across his face. He took one step forward, then another. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. You, he said, his voice deep and commanding, pointing directly at me. Everyone turned to stare. Me? I stammered. Yes, you. He crossed the ballroom in long strides, his eyes never leaving mine. Lawrence Cross. How did he know my name? He stopped right in front of me, so close I could smell his cologne. Expensive, intoxicating. I've been looking everywhere for you, he said. And then, in front of 300 people, he pulled me into his arms. What are you? I gasped. You're mine, Daniel said, loud enough for everyone to hear. His eyes blazed with something fierce and primal. You're my mate, and I'm taking you home. The ballroom exploded. What? Melissa's shriek could have shattered glass. Daniel didn't even look at her. His arms were around me, solid and warm, and I was pretty sure I'd stopped breathing. Excuse me. My father's voice boomed as he pushed through the crowd. Who the hell do you think you are? Barging into my daughter's party. He stopped dead when he saw Daniel's face. Mr. Westbrook. My father stammered, and oh my God, he was turning white. I didn't realize. Daniel Westbrook? Someone in the crowd gasped. The Daniel Westbrook? Oh my God. He's worth $40 billion. Another voice whispered urgently. He just acquired Tecton Industries last month. He's on the cover of Forbes. Daniel finally released me, but kept one possessive hand on my lower back. He turned to face my family with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Richard Cross, Daniel said smoothly. I've heard a lot about you. Your company's been struggling lately, hasn't it? Stock down 15%? That failed merger with Hartwell Group. My father's face went from white to red. That's private information. Not to me, Daniel said pleasantly. I know everything about everyone in this room, including what you just did to my mate. You're what? My mother had found her voice, pushing forward in her Chanel gown. Mr. Westbrook, I think there's been some mistake. This is Lawrence, our son, and he's perfect, Daniel finished, his hand tightening on my back. He's absolutely perfect. I stared up at him. Was this real? Was I hallucinating? No, you don't understand, Melissa said desperately, her engagement ring catching the light as she gestured. Lawrence is a nobody. He works at a copy shop. He's the love of my life, Daniel interrupted, and the entire ballroom gasped. My fated mate, the person I've been searching for 3 years. 3 years. Derek sputtered, his supermodel wife clutching his arm. That's impossible. We would have known. Would you? Daniel's voice turned cold. Because from what I just witnessed, you don't know anything about Lawrence at all. The temperature in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. I walked in here 5 minutes ago, Daniel continued, his voice calm but deadly. And do you know what I saw? I saw my mate, the most important person in my world, being verbally abused, physically assaulted, and humiliated by his own family. Now wait just a minute, my father started. I'm not finished, Daniel said, and my father's mouth snapped shut. I watched Lawrence's mother slap him. I heard his father call him a disgrace. I listened to his siblings tell him he's unlovable. And I watched 300 people laugh. The silence was deafening. Mr. Westbrook, James spoke up, still holding Melissa's hand. I'm James Hartley, Senator Hartley's son. I think perhaps you're overreacting. This was just family banter. Family banter, Daniel repeated slowly. He laughed, but it was harsh and humorless. Is that what you call telling someone they'll die alone? That they're worthless? That no one will ever love them? James paled. Lawrence, Daniel turned to me, his expression softening. Do you know who I am? I nodded mutely. Everyone in the country knew Daniel Westbrook. Do you know what I do? You run Westbrook Industries, I whispered. That's right. And do you know what I'm very, very good at? I shook my head. His smile turned predatory. Destroying people who hurt what's mine. The crowd collectively took a step back. Now, Daniel announced, addressing the room. Let me make something very clear. Lawrence Cross is mine. He is my mate, my partner, and as of this moment, he is under my protection. Anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with my legal team. Or better yet, his smile widened. Take it up with me personally. This is insane. Melissa exploded. You can't just walk in here and claim my brother like he's some kind of prize. Can't I? Daniel raised an eyebrow. Lawrence, do you want to come with me? Did I want to leave this nightmare? Did I want to escape the family that had just torn me apart in front of 300 people? Yes, I breathed. No, my mother lurched forward. Lawrence, you can't just leave. We're your family. Family? Daniel's voice could have frozen hell. Mrs. Cross, with all due respect, you slapped your son in front of a crowd. That's not family. That's abuse. How dare you? She started. How dare I? How dare you? Daniel's composure cracked for just a moment, fury blazing in his eyes. Do you have any idea what you have? Lawrence is kind, intelligent, resilient, and stronger than anyone in this room. He's survived 23 years of your cruelty and he's still standing. And you called him worthless. He is worthless. Melissa shrieked. He's a failure. He's a partner at Morrison and Associates at 25, Daniel said to me, ignoring her. Do you know how rare that is? She probably slept her way there. The crowd gasped. Excuse me? Melissa lunged forward, but James held her back. And Derek, Daniel continued conversationally, turning to my brother, vice president at Daddy's company. How convenient. I wonder if you'd have that position if your last name wasn't Cross. Derek's face turned purple. I earned that position. Did you? Daniel pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, and turned it to face the crowd. Because according to the internal reports I just accessed, your division has the worst performance metrics in the entire company. You've lost 3 major clients in the last 6 months alone. How did you? That's private, Derek sputtered. I bought a 12% stake in Cross Enterprise last week, Daniel said casually. I have access to everything. My father looked like he was about to have a heart attack. You bought stock in my company? I did. And now I'm going to use my voting shares to make some changes. Starting with removing Derek from his position. You can't do that, Derek roared. I absolutely can. I'm calling an emergency board meeting for Monday morning. I'll be recommending your termination. Amanda, Derek's wife, actually stumbled backward. And Melissa, Daniel turned to my sister with a smile that was pure venom. Congratulations on your engagement. That's a beautiful ring. 5 carats, platinum band, Tiffany cut. Must have cost Oh, about $250,000. James nodded proudly. 260, actually. Shame, Daniel interrupted. Because James, your trust fund is about to be frozen. James went white. What? Your father, Senator Hartley, has been taking illegal campaign contributions. I've been investigating for months, and I finally have proof. I'm turning it over to the FBI tomorrow morning. You're lying, James gasped. I never lie. Your father will be arrested by Monday. His assets will be seized, including the trust fund he set up for you. Daniel shrugged. Sorry about your engagement, Melissa. Guess you'll have to return that ring. Melissa looked like she was going to faint. As for you, Mrs. Cross, Daniel turned to my mother. I believe you're on the board of 8 charities? 7, she whispered. Not anymore. I'm personal friends with the directors of all 7 organizations. I'll be making some calls tonight. By tomorrow, you'll be removed from every single board. You can't. Tears were streaming down her face. And Mr. Cross, Daniel saved my father for last. Richard. Mind if I call you Richard? Mr. Westbrook, please. My father's voice was shaking now. Cross Enterprise is failing. Everyone knows it. You've been hemorrhaging money for 2 years. The only reason you're still afloat is because of some very creative accounting. Daniel's smile was sharp as a blade. I have copies of your financial records. All of them, including the ones you've hidden from the IRS. My father collapsed into a chair. So here's what's going to happen, Daniel announced to the room. I'm leaving with Lawrence. Tonight. Right now. And if anyone in this family tries to contact him, speak to him, or come anywhere near him, I will destroy you so completely that you'll wish you'd never been born. Understood. Silence. I said, understood? Yes, my father whispered. Good. Daniel turned back to me, and his expression softened again. Lawrence, we're going home. I don't have anything with me, I said stupidly. We'll buy you new things. Everything you could ever want. My car. I'll have someone pick it up. Or better yet, we'll buy you a new one. I can't just leave. Yes, you can, Daniel said gently. He cupped my face in his hands, and I realized his palms were warm and slightly calloused. You can leave all of this behind. You never have to see them again. But they're my family. No, he said firmly. They're people who share your DNA. Family doesn't treat you like this. Family doesn't abuse you. Family doesn't make you feel worthless. Tears spilled down my cheeks. Come with me, Daniel whispered. Let me show you what it's like to be loved. Let me show you what you deserve. I looked back at my family. My mother was crying. My father looked broken. Derek was pale and shaking. Melissa was staring at her engagement ring like it was about to disappear. And I felt nothing. No guilt. No sadness. No regret. Just relief. Okay, I said. Daniel's smile was brilliant. He took my hand and turned to face the crowd one last time. Oh, and one more thing, he called out. This party? It's over. Everyone out. Now. You can't kick us out of our party, Melissa started. I own this hotel, Daniel said simply. I bought it this morning. So yes, I can. Security will escort you all out in 5 minutes. Have a lovely evening. And with that, he led me out of the ballroom, his hand warm and solid in mine. Behind us, I heard chaos erupting. Shouting, crying, Melissa screaming. But I didn't look back. For the first time in 23 years, I walked away from my family. And I didn't feel guilty at all. Daniel's car was waiting outside. And when I say car, I mean a literal Rolls-Royce with a driver in a full suit who opened the door and called Daniel, sir. Like it was the most normal thing in the world. Get in, Daniel said gently, his hands still on my lower back. I slid into the back seat and immediately sank into leather so soft it felt like sitting on a cloud. The interior smelled like expensive cologne and new car, and there was a literal minibar built into the side panel. Daniel climbed in after me, and the door shut with a solid, expensive thunk. Jackson, take us home, Daniel said to the driver. Yes, sir. The car pulled away from the hotel, and I watched through the tinted windows as my family spilled out onto the sidewalk, still screaming at each other. Melissa was gesturing wildly. Derek was on his phone. My mother was crying into my father's chest. And I was sitting in a Rolls-Royce next to a billionaire who just claimed me as his mate. What the actual hell was my life right now? Lawrence. I jumped and turned to find Daniel watching me with an intense expression. Are you okay? He asked softly. Was I okay? I'd just been publicly humiliated, disowned by my family, and kidnapped by a gorgeous billionaire who apparently thought we were soulmates. I don't know, I admitted. I don't understand what's happening. You said I'm your mate. What does that even mean? Daniel's expression turned serious. You know about secondary genders, right? Alphas, betas, omegas. I nodded slowly. Everyone knew about them. Alphas were the dominant ones, strong, protective, usually rich and powerful. Omegas were the rare, coveted ones, capable of bearing children regardless of their primary gender, bonding with alphas on a biological level. Betas were everyone else. I'm an alpha, Daniel said. And you're an omega. I blinked. No, I'm not. I'm a beta. I tested when I was 16. The test was wrong, Daniel interrupted. Or more likely, your designation hadn't presented yet. It happens sometimes, especially with late bloomers. But I can smell it on you, Lawrence. You're an omega. My omega. That's impossible. Is it? Tell me, have you been feeling strange lately? More sensitive to smells? More emotional? Have you had any unexplained heat spells? I froze. Last month, I'd had what I thought was the flu. Fever. Body aches. This weird, desperate need that I couldn't explain. I called in sick to work for 3 days and spent the entire time in bed, feeling like my skin was on fire. Oh my God, I whispered. You had a heat, Daniel said gently. Your first one, which means your omega designation finally presented. And the second it did, I felt it. I felt you. The bond snapped into place and I've been searching for you ever since. 3 years, I said, remembering what he'd said in the ballroom. You said you've been searching for 3 years. I felt the bond 3 years ago, but it was incomplete, like a radio signal that kept cutting out. Took until last month for it to fully lock in. And the second it did, I hired every private investigator in the city to find you. He'd been looking for me, actually looking for me. Why? I asked. Why me? You're a billionaire. You could have anyone. Because you're mine, Daniel said fiercely. Fated mates aren't a choice, Lawrence. They're destiny. You're the only person in the world who's meant for me, and I'm the only person meant for you. But we don't even know each other. Then we'll get to know each other, he said simply. We have the rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. The words should have terrified me. Instead, I felt something warm unfurl in my chest. What about my family? I asked quietly. Did you mean what you said back there? About destroying them? Daniel's expression turned cold. Every single word. They hurt you, Lawrence. They abused you. And I don't forgive people who hurt what's mine. But they're still my family. No, Daniel said sharply. They're not. Family doesn't treat you like that. Family doesn't humiliate you in front of 300 people. Family doesn't tell you that you're worthless and unlovable. He reached out and gently wiped a tear from my cheek. I hadn't even realized I was crying. You deserve better, he said softly. You deserve everything. And I'm going to give it to you. I don't need everything. What do you need? Daniel asked immediately. Tell me. Anything. I'll give you anything. I thought about it. Really thought about it. I started slowly. To not live in a garage with 5 roommates who steal my food. Daniel's jaw tightened. Done. What else? I need a job that doesn't make me hate my life. You can work for me, or you don't have to work at all. Your choice. My voice cracked. I need someone who doesn't think I'm a failure. Never, Daniel said fiercely, pulling me against his chest. You're not a failure, Lawrence. You survived 23 years in a toxic family and you're still kind. You're still good. Do you have any idea how strong that makes you? I buried my face in his shirt and let myself cry. Really cry. All the pain and humiliation and shame from tonight, from the last 3 years, from my entire life, came pouring out. And Daniel just held me, didn't tell me to stop, didn't tell me I was being dramatic, just held me and stroked my hair and murmured soft, comforting words. "We're here, sir." Jackson's voice came from the front. I pulled back, wiping my eyes. "Where?" "Home," Daniel said. I looked out the window and my jaw dropped. We were parked in front of the Apex building, the tallest, most expensive residential tower in the entire city. The penthouse alone was rumored to cost $80 million. "You live here," I squeaked. "We live here," Daniel corrected. "As of tonight." Jackson opened the door and Daniel climbed out, then turned to offer me his hand. I took it because what else was I going to do? The lobby was all marble and gold, with a chandelier that probably cost more than my entire lifetime earnings. The doorman nodded respectfully at Daniel as we passed. "Good evening, Mr. Westbrook." "Evening, Marcus." We stepped into a private elevator because of course Daniel had a private elevator, and he pressed the button for the top floor. The elevator ride was smooth and silent. I watched the numbers climb. 40, 50, 60, 70. It stopped at 80. The doors opened directly into the penthouse. "Holy shit," I breathed. The entire far wall was floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The furniture was modern and expensive, all clean lines and soft neutrals. There was a full kitchen with marble countertops, a living room that could fit my entire garage apartment, and a dining table that could seat 12. "This is insane," I said, walking toward the windows. The view was breathtaking. The entire city spread out below us like a carpet of lights. "You like it?" Daniel asked, coming up behind me. "Like it?" "Daniel, this is..." I turned to face him. "This is too much. I can't just move in with you. We just met. We're fated mates," Daniel said patiently. "This is how it works. But what if we don't get along? What if you realize I'm actually boring and weird and..." Daniel kissed me, just leaned down and pressed his lips to mine, gentle but firm, and my brain short-circuited. He tasted like mint and something darker, something that made my knees weak. His hand came up to cup my face, thumb stroking my cheekbone, and I melted into him without thinking. When he pulled back, we were both breathing hard. "You're not boring," Daniel said roughly. "You're not weird. And even if you were, I wouldn't care. You're mine, Lawrence. Mine to protect, mine to cherish, mine to love." "You don't love me," I whispered. "You don't even know me." "Then let me get to know you," he said. "Stay. Give me a chance. Give us a chance." I should have said no. Should have insisted on going back to my garage apartment, my terrible job, my lonely life. But standing there in that beautiful penthouse, with Daniel looking at me like I was the most precious thing in the world. "Okay," I said. Daniel's smile was radiant. Yeah, good." He kissed me again, deeper this time, and I felt something click into place in my chest, like a puzzle piece finding its match. When we finally broke apart, Daniel took my hand. "Come on, let me show you our bedroom." "Our bedroom? Unless you want separate rooms? I can set that up if you're not comfortable." "No," I said quickly, surprising myself. "No, I don't want separate rooms." The smile Daniel gave me could have lit up the entire city. He led me down a hallway and opened a door to reveal the biggest bedroom I'd ever seen. California king bed with silk sheets, another wall of windows, a walk-in closet the size of my old bedroom. "The bathroom is through there," Daniel said, pointing. "It has a soaking tub and a rain shower." And he walked to the closet and opened it. "I had my assistant buy you some clothes. They might not fit perfectly, but we'll go shopping tomorrow." I stared at the closet. It was full of clothes, designer labels I recognized from magazines, suits, casual wear, shoes, even pajamas. "You bought me clothes?" I said faintly. "I bought you a whole wardrobe," Daniel corrected. "And tomorrow we'll get you everything else you need. Phone, laptop, whatever you want." "Daniel," This is too much. It's not enough, he said seriously. Lawrence, I'm a billionaire. Money means nothing to me. But you mean everything. Let me take care of you. Please. How was I supposed to argue with that? Okay, I whispered. Good. Daniel glanced at his watch. It's late. You should get some rest. Do you want a shower? Change. I looked down at my Goodwill blazer, now wrinkled and stained with champagne from where Melissa had thrown her drink at me. Yeah, I said. A shower sounds good. I'll be in the living room if you need anything, Daniel said. Then he hesitated. Unless, do you want me to stay? Did I? We just met. This was all moving so fast. But there was something about Daniel, something that made me feel safe in a way I'd never felt before. Stay, I said. Daniel's eyes darkened. Are you sure? I'm sure. Okay, he said softly. I'll stay. And as I headed into the bathroom, the massive luxury bathroom with heated floors and a chandelier, I realized something. For the first time in my entire life, I wasn't alone. And it felt amazing. I woke up to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and silk sheets that felt like clouds against my skin. For a moment, I forgot where I was. Then I felt the arm around my waist, the warm body pressed against my back, and everything came flooding back. Daniel, the party, my family, everything. Good morning. Daniel's voice was rough with sleep, his breath warm against my neck. I turned in his arms to face him. His dark hair was messy, his eyes soft and unguarded in a way I suspected most people never got to see. Did that really happen last night? I asked. Or did I dream the whole thing? It happened, Daniel said, pulling me closer. You're here. You're safe. And you're mine. Mine. The word should have scared me. Instead, it made me feel warm all over. What time is it? I asked. Daniel glanced at the clock on the nightstand. 9:30. 9:30. I bolted upright. Oh my God. I'm late for work. I have to. No, you don't, Daniel said calmly, pulling me back down. I called your manager last night and quit for you. I stared at him. You what? You're not working at that copy shop anymore, Lawrence. You don't need to. But I need money. I have rent and bills and I'll handle all of that, Daniel interrupted. In fact, he reached for his phone on the nightstand. I already did. He showed me his screen. It was a bank transfer confirmation for $50,000 to my account. Daniel, I yelped. You can't just, that's insane. That's your monthly allowance, he said simply. Well, one of them. I set up several accounts for you. One for personal spending, one for investments, one for monthly allowance. Daniel, that's more than I make in 3 years. I know, he said, looking genuinely confused. Is it not enough? I can increase it. It's too much. There's no such thing as too much when it comes to you, Daniel said seriously. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced at it and smiled. Perfect timing. What? Your family is here. My blood ran cold. What? They're downstairs in the lobby. Security won't let them up, obviously. But they're demanding to see you. Daniel's smile turned predatory. Want to watch? He grabbed a tablet from the nightstand and pulled up what looked like security footage. Sure enough, there were my parents, Derek, Melissa, and James in the lobby, arguing with the security guards. Need to see my son right now, my father was shouting. Sir, Mr. Westbrook has made it very clear that you're not welcome. I don't care what Mr. Westbrook said. That's my son up there and I have rights. Actually, you don't, Daniel murmured, watching the screen. Lawrence is 23, a legal adult. You have no rights. On screen, my mother was crying. Please, you don't understand. We need to talk to Lawrence. We need to fix this. There's nothing to fix, Melissa said coldly. She looked terrible. Eyes puffy, makeup smeared, still wearing her Valentino gown from last night. We need to get Lawrence away from that psychopath before he ruins our lives even more. Too late, Daniel said cheerfully. His phone rang. He answered it with a smile. Marcus, Put them on speaker. Yes, sir. Demand to speak to my son. My father's voice came through the phone, loud and angry. Mr. Cross, Daniel said smoothly. Good morning. I trust you slept well. Cut the crap, Westbrook. You can't keep Lawrence prisoner up there. I'm not keeping him prisoner. He's free to leave whenever he wants. Daniel glanced at me with a raised eyebrow. Lawrence, do you want to leave? No, I said quietly. Did you hear that? Daniel said into the phone. He wants to stay. You've brainwashed him, my mother shrieked. Lawrence, baby, please, come down here. We can talk about this. There's nothing to talk about, I said louder this time. You made it very clear last night how you feel about me. We were upset. Melissa's voice. You embarrassed us, but we're willing to forgive you if you just come home and stop this nonsense. Forgive me? I felt anger rising in my chest. You threw champagne in my face. You told me I was worthless. You said I'd die alone. We were trying to motivate you, Derek started. By abusing him? Daniel's voice went ice cold. Interesting parenting strategy. This is none of your business, my father roared. It became my business the second you laid hands on my mate, Daniel said. And speaking of business, I have some updates for you. What updates? My father said suspiciously. Well, let's start with you, Richard. The IRS received an anonymous tip this morning about your creative accounting. They'll be auditing Cross Enterprise starting Monday. From what I understand, they're very interested in those offshore accounts you've been hiding. Silence. And Derek, Daniel continued pleasantly, the board voted this morning. You're officially terminated, effective immediately. Security will be clearing out your office as we speak. You bastard, Derek screamed. Melissa, how's the engagement going? Oh wait. Daniel made a fake sympathetic sound. I heard James had to return the ring. Something about his bank accounts being frozen? Such a shame. You ruined my life. Melissa sobbed. No, you ruined your own life when you decided to abuse your brother, Daniel corrected. I just accelerated the consequences. Mrs. Cross, Daniel addressed my mother. I believe you received 7 emails this morning from 7 different charities, all informing you that your services are no longer required. My mother's wail echoed through the phone. You're a monster, my father shouted. We'll sue you. We'll press charges. You'll what? Daniel's voice was lethal now. Press charges for what, exactly? Protecting Lawrence from abuse? Exposing your tax fraud? Making legal business decisions? Please, Richard, try it. I have lawyers who eat people like you for breakfast. Lawrence. My mother's voice was desperate now. Baby, please, you can't let him do this to us. We're your family. Something inside me snapped. No, I said firmly. You're not my family. You never were. Family doesn't abuse. Family doesn't humiliate. Family doesn't destroy. But we raised you, my father protested. You raised a punching bag, I shot back. You raised someone to blame for all your problems. But I'm not that person anymore. I'm done. Lawrence, please, my mother begged. Goodbye, I said. Daniel ended the call. For a moment we just sat there in silence. Then Daniel's phone rang again. He glanced at it and smiled. It's the police. Right on schedule. The police. I stared at him. Marcus put them through. Mr. Westbrook? An official-sounding voice came through the phone. This is Detective Morrison. We're here at the Apex building responding to a disturbance call. Yes, Detective. There are 5 individuals in my lobby who are trespassing and refusing to leave. I'd like them removed and charged. What? I heard my father shout. We're not trespassing. We're here to see our son. Sir, is your son a resident of this building? The detective asked. He's with that psychopath in the penthouse. So your son is an adult who has chosen not to see you, and you're refusing to leave private property when asked. That's trespassing, sir. And harassment. This is ridiculous. Melissa shrieked. We're the victims here. Daniel Westbrook is holding our brother hostage. Ma'am, is your brother calling for help? Silence. Ma'am. No, Melissa admitted. But he's clearly been manipulated. So your adult brother is voluntarily staying with Mr. Westbrook, and you're refusing to accept his decision. That's harassment, ma'am. I want all of them arrested, Daniel said pleasantly. And I want restraining orders filed. They are not to come within 500 feet of Lawrence or myself. Understood, sir. We'll take them into custody. What? My father roared. You can't arrest us. Do you know who I am? You're a man who's about to be charged with trespassing, harassment, and disturbing the peace, Detective Morrison said calmly. Sir, turn around and put your hands behind your back. This is insane, Derek shouted. You're destroying our lives, Melissa screamed. Actually, Daniel said, you destroyed your own lives. I'm just making sure you face the consequences. The sounds of arguing continued, then scuffling, then the distinctive click of handcuffs. Lawrence, my mother wailed. Lawrence, please. Let's go, ma'am, the detective said firmly. Daniel pulled up the security footage again. I watched as my entire family was led out of the building in handcuffs. My mother was crying. My father was red-faced and screaming. Derek was struggling. Melissa was sobbing. And I felt nothing. No guilt. No sadness. No regret. Just peace. Are you okay? Daniel asked softly, setting the tablet aside. Yeah, I said, and I meant it. Yeah, I'm okay. They'll probably make bail in a few hours, Daniel said. But the restraining orders will hold. They can't come near you again. Good. Daniel pulled me into his arms. I'm proud of you. For what? For standing up for yourself. For choosing yourself. That takes strength, Lawrence. I buried my face in his chest. Thank you. For everything. You don't have to thank me, Daniel murmured into my hair. Taking care of you isn't a favor. It's a privilege. We stayed like that for a long time, wrapped in each other's arms as the sun rose higher over the city. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out and saw a text from an unknown number. You're going to regret this. We're your family. You OWE us. I showed it to Daniel. His expression darkened. Give me your phone. I handed it over. He typed something, then handed it back. I looked at the screen. He'd responded, This is Daniel Westbrook. Lawrence doesn't owe you anything. If you contact him again, I will personally ensure that every skeleton in your closet becomes front-page news. Try me. My phone didn't buzz again. What now? I asked. Now, Daniel said. We go have breakfast. Then we go shopping. Then we come home and I spend the rest of the day showing you exactly how much you mean to me. That sounds perfect. Good. Daniel kissed my forehead. Because you deserve perfect, Lawrence. You deserve everything. And for the first time in my entire life, I believed it. 6 months later. Mr. Cross, the quarterly reports are on your desk. I looked up from my laptop to see Sarah, my assistant, standing in the doorway of my office. My office, at Westbrook Industries, where I was the director of creative development. Thanks, Sarah, I said with a smile. She left, and I leaned back in my chair, looking around my office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Original art on the walls. A view that would have been impossible to imagine 6 months ago. My phone buzzed with a text from Daniel. Dinner at 7? I'm making reservations at Oriole. I smiled and typed back. Perfect. Love you. Love you more. See you tonight, beautiful. My old phone, the one I'd thrown away months ago, would have been full of messages from my family by now. Demands for money. Accusations. Guilt trips. My new phone only had messages from people who actually cared about me. Daniel. My new friends from work. My therapist, who I'd been seeing weekly to process everything. I heard through the grapevine that my father's company was in bankruptcy proceedings. That Derek was working at a mid-level firm for a quarter of his old salary. That Melissa's engagement had been called off and she'd been demoted at her law firm. That my mother had become a social pariah. uninvited from every event that mattered. And I felt nothing. They'd made their choices. I'd made mine. My door opened and Daniel walked in, looking unfairly gorgeous in his tailored suit. "Couldn't wait until tonight," he said, crossing the room to kiss me. "Missed you. You saw me 3 hours ago." I laughed. "3 hours too long," he murmured against my lips. I kissed him back, feeling that familiar warmth spread through my chest. The bond between us had only grown stronger over the past 6 months. I couldn't imagine my life without him now. "I have something for you," Daniel said, pulling back. "Daniel, you already gave me a Rolex this week. This is different." He pulled out a small velvet box. My heart stopped. "Daniel, before you panic," he said quickly, "it's not an engagement ring. Not yet. But it is a promise ring." He opened the box to reveal a simple platinum band with a single diamond. "A promise," he continued, "that I will love you, protect you, and cherish you for the rest of our lives. Promise that you will never be alone again. A promise that you're mine, and I'm yours, forever." Tears blurred my vision. "Daniel, will you accept it?" he asked softly. "Yes," I whispered. "Yes, of course." He slid the ring onto my finger, and it fit perfectly, just like everything else in my new life. I was Lawrence Cross. I was 23 years old. I was an Omega. I was loved. And I was finally happy. The end.